Okay, so welcome to this workshop on how to build a personal brand. Just kind of giving you guys an introduction to how to do so and a little bit about me. I'm a second year data science major. I'm one of ACM's product directors. And I'm currently involved in ACM, Phi Beta Lambda, and the Data Science Student Society at UCSD. And I was a past software developer intern at the San Diego Supercomputer Center. So it's like the professional experience that I have. And I was also a past instructional assistant for the data science department over the summer. And some hobbies of mine are skiing and snowboarding. Really enjoy traveling and also just garden with friends and just going on spontaneous trips. And so a little bit about today's agenda. So we're gonna go over what personal branding is, the importance of personal branding, how to get started, and some examples to kind of wrap it up. So first off, what is branding? So branding is basically just giving a meaning to a product, a company, anything along those lines. So it's about like what your first impressions are to the company and kind of how they portray you. So branding is also about building brand recognition with a distinct style. So you want to give your customers or the people who are going to be looking at you a consistent brand experience. So for example, some brand elements include mission statement, values, logo, and a website. So these are all like good ways to kind of begin building your personal brand. So the mission statement kind of lets others know that what your purpose is, what your mission is for a company, for example. And the values that you hold are also super important to branding yourself or branding a company or a product. And a little bit about what personal branding is. So personal branding is about who you are, the values you stand for, and the ways in which you express those values. So personal branding is about communicating your unique identity and clear value to employers. So when you're personal branding, you kind of want to show the employers why they should hire you and kind of what you bring that's unique to the table. And so this should really encapsulate who you are as a person and kind of what you really want people to view you as. And so here is just like a list of archetypes that are just like really common. So you can like read through these yourself, and these are just like common themes that people kind of frame people in a sense. So you can kind of like see like desires to fit in, desire purity, desire to embrace the experiences. So kind of these purposes are like just like archetypes that like people tend to take on. So I'll leave this up for like a little bit so you guys can read it over. And then like the visual on the right just provides like a little bit more of a breakdown between like, so for example, if you're like an outlaw, magician, and hero, then your kind of main goal is to leave a mark on people. And similarly, if you're like a lover, a gesture, a everyman, then your main goal is to kind of try to connect with others. So I thought this was like a really cool visual, really cool way of expressing these archetypes. And so next off, we're going to talk a little bit about why personal branding is really important. And so I guess the main reason here is it helps you really stand out from your competitors, your peers, because it kind of gives you something that it gives you a leg up in the sense that it helps you brand yourself and helps you just like stand out from everyone else who may be kind of like, it may be hard to stand out from a crowd of peers when everyone just kind of like is saying the same thing. And so I will be, let me see. Give me a second. Let me share my sound. Okay, so let me know if you guys can hear this.
Wondering what all the fuss is about with personal branding and whether it even applies to you in what you're trying to achieve with your own. I'm gonna break everything down for you in this video. Welcome back, or if this is your first time here, welcome and hello. My name is Kat Elizabeth. I am an actor, online entrepreneur, and video creator who is obsessed with all things personal branding. There is a lot of personal branding talk these days. It's a bit of a buzz concept and it seems a little bit overdone, and so it can be really hard to tell the difference between the BS and the stuff that's really going to help you. So in this video, I'm going to break down all of the what, why, and how of personal branding, plus I have a special freebie for you, so make sure you stay right till the end. So let's start with the basics. What even is a personal brand? Well, it's actually pretty much the same as any brand, a brand of product or a company or a business. It is how your audience really perceives you. And so it's kind of like a promise of what you are doing, who you are, and what you're selling, and how that affects the people that you're trying to influence. Times really have changed. There was a time when, you would go and shop for the thing that you needed at the nearest shop that you were able to walk by on the street, or people would hire you because you had a great CV and then you presented well in a resume. But it isn't like that anymore. If you're trying to get a job, you know that you are being judged on so much more than your resume and the clothes that you wear when you walk into that interview. People are looking you up online and seeing what they can learn about you before you even get to the interview stage. And the same goes for working with service-based businesses or shopping around for a product. It's not about what's the most convenient and local. We read reviews, we look at social media profiles, and we ask our friends, and it's what people are saying about that brand, not what the brand is saying about themselves, that tends to have the biggest impact. And so really your personal brand has only a little bit to do with who you are and what you're telling people you're about, but more about your actions and what people are then telling their friends and family about you and what you delivered and how they perceive you. You could literally be the most talented person at something, and yet it wouldn't even matter if you don't have a personal brand that actually reflects it. I mean, if you are extremely talented at doing something and yet your website looks like crap, you dress sloppily, and you are late to every meeting and unreliable, well then your talent actually means nothing, because people are very unlikely to hire you based on everything else they've seen of you, which is why we need to make sure that our personal brand is just as amazing as the quality of the work that we create. The fact is, we are spoiled for choice these days. If you need to hire someone, let's say you need a graphic designer to hire, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of options out there that can be found in different ways. So it really isn't just about who is the best graphic designer. We are looking to connect with them, what they represent, their personality, their price point, the work that they've already done, whether it feels like it aligns with our own brand. We are making all of these choices based on factors other than the fact that they are a good graphic designer. And that is what is happening with you and your personal brand. You cannot just rely on your talent or the last job that you had to guarantee your next lot of work. You have to make sure that the perception that people have of you everywhere they're finding you, everywhere they see you, is consistent and has integrity. It really aligns with who you actually are. Question of the day, are you
Okay, so I think that was like the small clip that I wanted to show. I think that was like pretty good summary of like really how important personal branding is. And so if you want to watch the whole video, feel free to do so on your own time. But I will move on. So next we're going to talk a little bit about how to get started with like building your personal brand, because it's a lot easier to say it than actually get started on it. And so how do you get started? So you can first assess your reputation, your virtual presence, and how you present yourself in person. So your posture, how you talk to people, your manners, everyday manners, the mood, and just how people portray you as are all really important to just making sure that you're coming off as genuine as the person that you want to be viewed as. And so your reputation is a lot about how you present yourself to other people. So make sure to just be conscious of what you're putting out there, how you're presenting yourself, because that's all important to how you build your personal brand. And so for actually developing your personal brand, so you can first ask, who am I? So if you don't really know, you could definitely just ask your friends and family to kind of describe you in 5 words. Ask about any strengths and weaknesses that you have, because I feel like a lot of times you can get a better idea of how you come off to as like how you come off to people by asking people and by talking to them. So how your friends portray you as may not be the same as how you think you're being portrayed as, or how you try to present yourself to other people. So it's really important to just get outside opinion and to be able to ask people to give you like advice and insight onto how they actually see you as. So that's like the first step of actually developing your personal brand. And so some questions that could help you explore this would be asking like, what roles do I thrive in? What motivates me? What are my strongest characteristics? And what types of projects do I truly enjoy? So these are just some examples of questions that could lead to you kind of getting a better sense of who you are and what makes you passionate, what is like your strengths and weaknesses, and kind of how you want to build off of that. And then the second step would be to kind of analyze how you want to be perceived. So for example, what traits or skills do you have that make you unique? So maybe you are really strong at coding, or maybe you're really strong at talking to people. So those would be skills or traits that kind of make you unique, because not everyone has the same skills. So knowing what you are good at, what you're strong at, could definitely make you stand out. And also asking yourself, where do you want to be in 5 years or 10 years? So that helps you set a goal or a vision to work towards. So if you really want to be a CEO of a company or something in, let's say, in 10 years, then that could be, you could kind of like talk to other CEOs and kind of make that your goal. And so that could help you get a better direction of where you want to go, and kind of help you give incentive for you to continue developing a brand and to work towards that goal. And so just some other tips for how to build your personal brand. So kind of figure out who you are and what you want to be known for. So this goes back to the purpose that I was talking about earlier, what you want to be known for by other people, and what you want other people to see you as. And then you should also define your audience. So who do you want to like perceive you? Like who do you feel like is the most important audience that you want to get yourself out to? So for example, if you're recruiting, then maybe the audience would be like recruiters or other engineers that you kind of want to bring out your personal brand to. And then you should also research your target industry. So different industries have different different requirements and different ways that different ways of different company values, different purposes. So researching your target industry is definitely really important. And also feel free to reach out for informational interviews and network with industry professionals, because these are really important just to get to know the industry you're going into, and just to gain more insight into maybe how new people perceive you as and how you come off to strangers. And some more tips is just to have a good elevator pitch. This is a really important step into actually building a personal brand, because it's the first thing that people hear about you. So if you're meeting someone for the first time, say you want a job or something, then having a good elevator pitch is definitely really important to be able to make a good first impression and be able to get off give off good impression. to like say a recruiter or someone. And you should also grow your online presence. So while most people definitely say like online presence is really important, and if you're going to certain industries that building your personal brand online is something that's really crucial, but you should know that personal branding isn't just online. You can definitely do a lot online, but it's not all of like personal branding is online. So if you look at like you just talking to other people, like what they see you as it doesn't just come off to them as like online. And so just remember that your personal branding is like kind of how you portray yourself to other people in all sense. So online, in real life and all that. And another tip is to be okay with reinventing yourself. So you're always growing, you're always learning. Don't be afraid to kind of break out of your shell and to try new things. It's part of the process, and definitely just feel free to go with the flow. And so here are just some examples of people that I feel have really strong personal brands to kind of get a sense of these types of people. So the first person is Oprah. So you guys probably know who she is. She's basically a talk show host, an actress, and like a billionaire. So as you know, Oprah is born in poverty. She was really abused as a child. But her strength and resilience and ability to kind of overcome obstacles is part of her personal brand. So that's kind of what she's known for as to like the general public. And so now she's into like philanthropy and helping other people. So now that's like what she's known for. That's her personal brand and how like other people portray her as. So that's a little bit about Oprah. And then another example would be Kylie Jenner. So she's a reality star, entrepreneur, beauty brand creator. So she's often known for selling her body and her image. She's like the world's youngest self-made billionaire, and she really needs to know how to market herself and to have her own brand and to really be like true to who she is in order to have like such a strong brand base right now. So it's a little bit about her and how she has built her personal brand. And then the last example would be Taylor Swift. She's a singer, actress, producer, and entrepreneur. And so when she was young, she kind of had a Tumblr post and she spoke to her audience through that. And so through that, she kind of had a strong sense of who she was. And so that was kind of how that was her outlet to building her own personal brand. So like it was through that that kind of got her started into her career. And so that was something that really helped Taylor Swift. So just knowing like the different types of mediums that you're strong in and kind of how like the ways that you could portray that to the public through like whatever platform that you're using. So these are just some examples of people that have strong personal brands. And another example is Disney. Disney, definitely, you guys probably know what Disney is. So Disney's power really lies in its brand. So just a little bit of stats here. Disney's brand value has grown 11% in the last year. Market capitalization hovering near 200 billion. So Disney has a really strong personal brand. As you know, like they have a really strong logo. They have a really large fan base across countries. And so Disney is just like another example of like how like you can kind of like build your self brand like off of. And so I think those are that's like the presentation I have now. So do you guys have like any questions or anything? I think in the chat, Stephen asked, do you think it's necessary to have other social medias besides LinkedIn? I think if you're talking about like personal branding wise, LinkedIn is probably the most important because it's like a professional platform where you could kind of like post content or like link stuff and be able to kind of build your personal brand online. I don't think it's necessary to have like any other social media. I think LinkedIn is like definitely a good starting point. You can have, I think like Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook are also like social medias where you can kind of build your fan base around, but I don't think it's like super necessary to have like other types of social media just to build your brand. Um, LinkedIn is definitely a good starting point. But if it doesn't work out for you, then you could definitely try like other types of platforms. And if you guys don't have any other questions, you can feel free to, yeah, that should be the end of the presentation. It was pretty short, but hopefully that was helpful, and feel free to, if you don't have any questions, feel free to just leave.